Good afternoon. My name is Alena Shautsova. I'm an immigration attorney from Brooklyn, New York. Today, I would like to provide you with some very important updates regarding TPS. TPS status, recent decisions regarding TPS status, and recent USCIS policy change regarding adjustment of status for TPS holders. So please stay with us till the end of the video, because the second news, adjustment of status for TPS holders, is also very, very important. So first of all, let's talk about decision Ramos versus Wolf. That's a decision that recently came out of the Ninth Circuit, and basically decision is 107 pages long. Okay, but basically the decision says that the government administration executive branch has authority to terminate TPS status, and the courts cannot review or interfere with that power. In simple language, it means that TPS status for citizens of Sudan, Nicaragua, Haiti, and El Salvador can be terminated. For most of them as soon as March 5th, 2021, and for Salvadorians, November 20th, 2021, okay, next year. So it's a very important decision. We do have a couple more cases that potentially can protect citizens of Haiti and citizens of Honduras and Nepal. There are other lawsuits that may protect citizens of those countries, but of course the most I think the population of from El Salvador TPS holders is the biggest one, is the largest one, and citizens of El Salvador basically have to be aware of this decision and potentially start planning if they may have some solutions for them in the United States, start planning for some other immigration solutions. Okay, so we do not know exactly what's going to happen after this decision and what the administration will actually choose to do, whether they will be terminating TPS status for TPS designations for these countries, or maybe they will extend it at some point for at least one more period of time. And by the way, why do we have these dates, March 5th of the next year and November 20th of the next year? It is because the government previously stipulated during this court proceedings that they will not end TPS status immediately, shall the court lift the injunction. Injunction is a stop on termination. Because it was an injunction, the government could not stop the termination of the TPS status. And that's why employment authorizations, for those of you who are holders of the TPS status, you may know that your employment authorizations were being extended automatically, okay? So during the course of this litigation, the government basically agreed that if the court will say that the injunction is lifted, they will not terminate the TPS status immediately, but will give people some time. And this time is defined by those two dates, March 5th, 2021 for other countries, and November 20th, 2021 for El Salvador. Okay. So what can you plan? Let's say you are a holder of the TPS status, and what will you do in this situation? Well, of course, it depends on your previous immigration history. Some TPS holders, they already have final orders of removal or deportation. So they may want to think about motions to reopen if their situation changed, if perhaps they became eligible for some other forms of relief. Very often, such a form of relief would be a petition by an immediate relative, or in other words, let's say TPS holder now has a child who is a US citizen above 21 years old, and that person may sponsor them. So if the TPS holder will be able to benefit from this petition depends on many factors, including absence or presence of a removal order and, for example, legal entry, if there is a legal entry or there is none. Many TPS holders were using advance parole to travel outside of the United States. And this is going to be my second very important piece of information for you. Just recently, USCIS, in the matter of ZRZC, held that, well, it was actually a decision from Administrative Appeals Office, but the decision stated that TPS holders who traveled on advance parole and came back will not be able to use that entry on advance parole for adjustment of status purposes. It is very, very important. Previously, when a person would be paroled into the United States, that parole would always be taken as a proof of legal entry for adjustment of status purposes. But recently, the government decided to make a difference, to differentiate between different paroles, between different ways a person can be paroled into the United States. And based on that difference, the government decided, or the judges, I wouldn't call them judges, probably it's more like adjudication officers of Administrative Appeals Office decided that parole that is issued to TPS holders is different from other paroles, and that particular parole should not be used for adjustment purposes. So this is a huge dent, I would say, in the immigration system and in the way the immigration system works. And of course, it's a bad news for those TPS holders who were planning on using such entry to the United States for the adjustment purposes. But the good news in all of this is this, that this new rule is going to be applied only to those TPS holders who departed and returned after August 20th, 2020. It means, for example, if you as a TPS holder travel to outside of the United States in July of this year and came back in the end of July or before August 20th, 2020, you can still use that travel, that parole, and receive your green card if now your child, who is a US citizen and 21 years old, or your spouse are sponsoring you. But if you travel later, or you didn't manage to return before August 20th, 2020, you will not be able to use that entry, and you will not be able to get a green card this way, okay? Another very important exception is that residents of the 6th and 9th federal circuits can use TPS by itself, a grant of TPS by itself, to adjust status, because in those jurisdictions, TPS is regarded as admission, inspection and admission by itself. So it's very, very important to know all these aspects of immigration law in the United States if you're planning on filing for your green card. Because I hear it many times, people say, but my friend did this, my relative did that. Every case is different. Those deadlines are important. Where you file in your case is important. If your previous immigration history for you is important. So these are the two very important updates for the TPS holders. I hope this information is helpful to you. Please like, share this video, because it's a very important, contains very important information for roughly 500,000 people in the United States and their families subscribe to our channel, and I hope to see you soon.